super happy to be here on YouTube. I know it's been a minute. I know I haven't uploaded many videos to YouTube this year, but I can think of no better occasion to film for YouTube than one of our favorite brands, Laurel, and the annual release of the much awaited and anticipated MIRAVAL collection. Importantly, I want you to know that if you are interested in any of these 4 products, Laurel is going to be discounting each of the 4 MIRAVAL collection products by 15% from June 25th to June 29th. So that's a Thursday to a Monday. I got to try the Honeysuckle Sage Elixir last year, so the 2025 batch, and I completely fell in love with it, and I had the absolute pleasure of getting to try the rest of the products this year. Normally I have a code with Laurel, LAMOUR, L-A-M-O-U-R, which gets you a gift with purchase with orders $125 or more, but they aren't stacking codes with this 15% off limited time discount on MIRAVAL, but I am going to put my affiliate link with Laurel below. If you learn something from this video, or if what I share helps you make a purchasing decision and you would like to shop through my affiliate link, I do get a small commission, and that would be amazing. Now let's get into talking about this beautiful collection. So Laurel, who is the herbalist and formulator behind Laurel Whole Plant Organics Skincare, basically went to the 3 MIRAVAL spa locations in Austin, Texas, Tucson, Arizona, and Lenox, Massachusetts, I think, in the Berkshires. She was essentially an herbalist formulator in residence for several months at each of these locations, developing products that could then be used in a Laurel facial aesthetics skincare experience at these MIRAVAL locations. So the 4 products in the range are the Petal Pecan Mask, which was developed in Austin, Texas at the Austin MIRAVAL location, the Honeysuckle Sage Elixir, and the Wolfberry Chia Seed Serum, or Wolfberry Chia Serum. And these 2 products were developed at the Tucson, Arizona MIRAVAL location. And lastly, the Tulsi Rose Balm, which was developed at the Lenox, Massachusetts, Berkshires location of MIRAVAL. After this video, if you feel you want more information, please go to the Laurel website. I'll include individual landing pages for each product so that you can go and read the formulator notes, the background, the deep dive into the ingredients. There's just a lot there. It's almost like a light version of ethnographic field notes from Laurel's time there, the people that she met, the herbalists that she worked with, the local farmers and purveyors of ingredients. So it's really fun to read, and it will really light you up and get you probably even more excited about the products. So let's talk about them in the order in which they sequence them during a facial. So step 1 is the Petal Pecan Mask. Step 2 is the Elixir. Step 3 is the serum, and step 4 is the balms. They are meant to be used in that sequence as part of like a whole skincare experience. Now, I have to tell you that the only product that I haven't been actively testing, I haven't used the Petal Pecan Mask, and this is very much a me issue because back in April, I had a somewhat fraught facial experience with some microdermabrasion. It was just a lot, and it took me a while to kind of come down from that experience and really almost take a very hard look at my skincare philosophy, like revisit a lot of the tenets that I'd been abiding by, how I was feeling, what my sort of boundaries are with skincare. I talk more about that in a podcast episode that I did over on Patreon, if you want to go hear that. Just sort of lamenting the state of the modern aesthetics, dermatologically driven aesthetics industry, and the falling away of a lot of the more manual techniques. So I haven't been using any exfoliators, any masks on my skin. I've been super minimal. I don't use an eye cream anymore. This has just sort of been sitting on my top shelf, waiting until my skin is kind of ready for a full treatment. This is a brightening and moisturizing mask to firm and renew the skin. Laurel writes, it's a representation of plentiful Texas farmlands with an opulent bounty of peaches and pecans alongside treasured native and medicinal herbs like pink primrose, calendula, chamomile. There's also some warming herbs in this like tulsi, turmeric, and ginger. Some anti-inflammatory herbs like lemon balm, milky oats, and chickweed, and there's some vanilla and vetiver. So the raw honey base of this, and I'm sure many of you have used masks like this, and some of you may even remember when honey tapping was a thing. It's been some years, but basically you put the product onto your face dry, and that's called honey tapping. It's kind of like a suction effect, and this helps to get the lymph moving, get circulation going. So it's really a very sort of holistic skin technique. You can leave it on for 10 to 30 minutes, removing it with a warm cloth. I would imagine it probably also rinses off pretty well. Step 2, we move on to the elixir. So remember, the elixir and the serum are out of Tucson. So we're going from Texas now to Tucson, Arizona. Delicate blooms of desert honeysuckle, which is kind of the star ingredient in this as far as I could tell reading about it, are handpicked for an enfleurage infusion and carefully blended with an orange blossom hydrosol. There are regional distillations of lime, sage, and pinon, which have antioxidant-rich resins and terpenoids, which nourish, heal, and soothe desert sun-kissed skin. There's also creosote or creosote, globe mallow, and desert willow for hydration and repair. Vitamin C-rich prickly pear from a historic Arizona ranch. You'll also find calendula, chamomile, milky oats. So like I mentioned at the outset, I had the pleasure of getting to try this last year. It was sent to me as a PR sample. I had never tried anything in the MIRAVAL collection. It became an out of the gate immediate love. To me, it has always smelled like a light almond marzipan smell within the context of a desert. So it feels very succulent in a way. Like if I were to close my eyes and use this, I'm kind of transported to being surrounded by cacti and succulent plants like aloe vera and things like that. I think of the sun. I think of the arid Southwest. I've spent a lot of time in South Texas where my mom lives and is from. So not quite Arizona, but I have been to various places in Arizona and New Mexico. So it is a landscape that I am familiar with, and I kind of appreciate from a visitor's standpoint. It's like that landscape is very native to my mom, for example. Like she feels so comfortable there. And I really feel a pull there, but not in a way that's necessarily native to me. And when we talk about the Tulsi Rose Balm that's sourced more from the Northeast, that's where I feel the real like situational embedding of that formula. So these products, they transport you, I guess. Like I do feel that sense of it taking me somewhere and conjuring up landscape and climate. Now we move on to this wolfberry chia serum. So wolfberry is another name for the goji berry. And when I looked it up here, they made the note that the wolfberry here in this formula is a type of native goji berry harvested locally to MIRAVAL, Arizona. Brighten, strengthen, and protect skin from oxidative stress. I love goji berries. They're so revered and prized in traditional Chinese medicine. So this is in a base of chia seed, prickly pear, and jojoba, all raw, artisan, cold pressed oils. There's also red raspberry seed oil and rosehip seed oil, which are favorite oils of mine. Now it has this beautiful, vibrant color that I feel like Laurel's oils are just known for. The more that I have used it, the more its uniqueness comes out. So it's been a bit of a different experience because with something like the mist, right out of the gate, I kind of understood this product. It felt a certain way to me, and that experience with the product has stayed very consistent. The serum has been more of like an unfolding experience where I kind of notice something a little different or something a little different jumps out to me with every use. And I love that. I mean, I think it's so fun to have that. Well, it's fun to have both experiences, but they're just different, right? This is a very easy, user-friendly, you're almost assuredly going to get on with this type of product, kind of universal, I would say. So If you are in need of a new face oil, I think this is a fantastic option. It's seasonal, so I feel like summer is such a great time to use it when we're all spending a lot more time out in the sun. And yeah, it's just really focused on free radical defense, soothing, cooling, reparative, all of that, because again, it's coming from that desert context of formulation mentality. Then we move to the fourth product in the line, which I have to tell you is probably my favorite. I thought for sure that this was going to continue to be my favorite, and I do still love this. This is the one that kind of speaks to me the deepest, the Tulsi Rose Balm. And I wonder if it's because, like, circling back to what I was saying before about the desert landscape and how I sort of would interact with the Southwest and the desert landscape. I grew up in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York. I also lived in New England for, I think, close to a decade, in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. I have also lived in Vermont, and then I've also lived in the Midwest and in the South as well. And now I live in Western Pennsylvania. I think the Northeast herbal ingredients in here are very special, and they really speak to me, like to my heart. This is a work of art, truly. The texture it's like cashmere silk. I don't know if I've ever had a balm that is silkier than this. Let me bring up my notes. I get like kind of, you know, carried away, I think, talking about it because I think it's so stunning. So Laurel writes, the Berkshire's Tulsi Rose Balm is a dedication to its lush growing region where wild native plants like rose, nettle, and pine grow in abundance. Regeneratively cultivated Northeast farmed cranberries and Concord grapes provide unparalleled levels of antioxidants like resveratrol and barrier supportive essential fatty acids. Tulsi, yarrow, and Japanese knotweed are nutrient rich and tonifying, grown and harvested by regional medicinal herb farms. They describe this as a waterless, rich, concentrated moisturizer. So yes, I would agree, this is definitely a rich balm. If you are oily combination, you would have to use it very sparingly and or save it for winter time. They say it's especially well suited to face, neck, chest, and shoulders. So I imagine if you are fortunate enough to have the Laurel facial at one of these MIRAVAL spas, that they use this to just give you a whole upper body massage. I feel like I would be floating off the table into another dimension, probably. This balm supports lymphatic flow, improving firmness, strength, and vitality. The lingering flower and forest aromatics of Tulsi Rose work to calm and soothe the senses. The first time I used this, you know, I try so many products, so I don't go in with preconceived notions. I try things. Like, I don't overthink them, I don't research them ahead of time, and I just let the experience be what it is. For a product to really like stop me in my tracks, that doesn't happen that often, and it happened with this. I feel like now, having tried this whole collection, the place-based aspect to it is so fascinating to me, and to get to experience, I think, the whole collection, the way that place informed the formulas, like the plants just spoke for themselves. And Laurel even said in some of the descriptions I read that the formula just kind of created itself based on the time that she spent and how she kind of tuned in with the landscape and the plants. She was like the steward of the formula coming to fruition. I just think that she has really done a true service to these regions and these plants. It's been out for years, and I mean, I don't even know what year this is of them releasing it. They release it every June. I can't remember if I already said that. And then it'll be available till it sells out and not available again until the 2027 release next June. So I would say time is kind of the essence. If you do want to pick something up, I would do it obviously during this time when you can get 15% off. I hope that my thoughts on these were interesting or helped you maybe pick 1, 2, 3, or even 4 things that you would like to try. 15% off applies to each of the individual items. I do believe Laurel will also bundle them all 4 together at a discount, and that the 15% off would not apply to the bundle because it will already be discounted. But if you just want to pick up 1 or 2 or 3 things, then you can get that 15% off. If you have any questions, of course, please drop them below. This is just my experience having had these in my life for the last month or so, and my apologies that I didn't have firsthand experience with the mask. I hope you understand. If you would like more of my content, please come over to Patreon, patreon.com/LamourLaMusique. I go live every single week. I do a get ready with me and just talk about products on a rolling basis. And I do a video and a podcast every month over there. I have a huge archive because I've been doing this on Patreon since 2017, which is so wild to me that it has been that long, but it has. I've been on YouTube since 2014 and I'm still here, baby. I'm still here. If you have requests for videos here on YouTube, please let me know. Do you want to see empties? Do you want to see favorites? Do you want me to do monthly Beauty Heroes box reviews? Do you want to see cooking videos? I mean, I do that all on Patreon, and they're really a labor of love, but that's the kind of content I watch now. Gardening, cooking, meal prepping, some beauty stuff, but very selective, because like, who are the good beauty YouTubers anymore? I don't even know. Please tell me. I shall let you go now. Thank you so much for being here. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I really try and get back to everybody that comments and say hi, and thank you for being here and for watching. So hope to see you very soon.